Good evening.
Or did you read that up there?
Good evening. Where y'all from? Virginia Islands. Accokeek, former headquarters of Beretta. Kissimmee, Florida. Indiana. Maine. Hey, Brent. Delaware. Oh, California, behind the lines. Oh, we got two from California. Cary, aim low. Alabama. We got three from California, behind the lines. We got some Canadians too, eh? How you knobs doing up there?
Hear my stomach growling.
Florida, Hawaii.
Sorry if you guys can hear my stomach. It's growling horribly.
Got any advice for starting a gun-based YouTube channel? Don't.
No.
We got a Texan.
Well, Charles, it would start with a nagging wife like me who basically poked him and berated him for, 4 years. And even then, every time I would try to get him to do a video, I'd be like, why doesn't he want to hear me talk about that? Why does he? Yeah.
Georgia, and we got a Wisconsin.
I guess you would have to have a real good gun knowledge. I mean, I know a lot of guys just, they like guns and they go in and start a channel. And I wanted to start a channel because Chris has been in the industry for so long and he has so much knowledge of, so many different manufacturers and forensics and, being a forensic scientist for over 10 years and traveling all over the world, working with different weapons platforms. I mean, that's where it came from for me, wanting to do was share that knowledge of what he knew and everything he's learned.
We got Rhode Island here too. My nephew plays college football for University of Rhode Island.
Did you attend SHOT Show? There hasn't been a SHOT Show.
Now, last year was canceled. This year, I'm not sure.
I don't know what's going to happen this year. We're just fingers crossed everything goes forward in NRA. We have massive plans for NRA and have lots of good stuff planned for that.
Penn State.
Okay, let me go ahead and take off and get started. I think your Rain Man impersonation is done tonight. If you'd like to donate tonight during the chat, you can do so by using this amazing link that goes to Donor Box. I just popped it into the chat. It's also on smallarmsolutions.com. You can use it there as well. You can attach your question into the comment section and I'll get an email and you'll bump the line of questions. You can also use the super chat function. I see a couple of you have already done that. Google does take 30%, which is quite a bit. And SAS can definitely use your dollars right now. I know everybody's struggling, especially with the pandemic conditions and everything. Donations are definitely down and YouTube doesn't monetize gun channels. So your dollars help us keep going and pay for the internet for tonight. So us and all questions are welcome, and we don't just put them down. We don't just take paid questions. He makes too much noise. Put him down.
Yes, I'll tear your says hello.
Okay. We don't just take paid questions. we're glad that you're able to join us, and we missed you last week. And Chris just got back in from New York, so here we go. We're going to get through as many as possible. First one is up. It's from Steve on DonorBox. Thank you so much, Steve. He said, when installing a flash hider with a crush washer, do you think it's also good to add rock set thread locker compound or any thread locking compound?
No. The whole point of the crush washer is to keep everything oriented, to keep it from coming loose. No, there's no reason to put any of that at all using a crush washer.
Kirk, thank you so much for your donation. Hope you're having fun wherever it is that you're at currently. And if you have any questions tonight, let me know and I'll grab those for you. But thank you so much for your donation. Will an Arrow M5 buffer system work on a PSA AR10 Gen 3?
Well, it's going to depend. If it's using a standard AR type AR-15 type buffer, yes. If it's using a smaller one, no. But for the most part, that system was not designed for the 308 platform. I would actually stay away from it.
Does suppressor length count towards overall barrel length when building an AR pistol, like a 6.5-inch barrel and a 4-inch suppressor to hit 10.5 inches?
Well, two answers. One, if it's drilled and pinned, yes. Two, if it's removable, no. Drilled and pinned meaning it's a permanent overall length. It can't be changed. So you're set there. But if it's removable, I will say most forensic scientists I know do count that extra inch. They don't remove the flash suppressors from it, but they can actually, if you know which kind of gun it is, you can subtract. But for the reality is, pin yes, not pin no.
Kirk says yes. He's in an undisclosed federal facility is where he's at. I didn't know if you wanted us to read that or not. I'm not sure what that is or where. He's part of the mob, maybe.
Gary's upset. You can't even see a shoulder this time.
What? Not even an elbow. Yeah, no. I feel like if I even come on I try to sit in over here, but I feel like when I try to come in to read and then you see a part of my face, then people complain that I'm not completely in the camera. And so, yeah.
She's Wilson from
I like to think I look
TV
better
show.
than Wilson, though.
No, you hide. Like Wilson from Home Improvement.
Any opinions on the adjustable magnetic buffer system?
Got one here, but I've just never messed with it. It's one of those things that it overcomplicates a system, which I don't think is necessary. That's probably why I haven't messed around with it. What our current buffer systems work, and anything that adds to me is a potential problem.
What was your introduction to forensic science?
Well, it was interesting. I was in college going for my bachelor's in police science, and a really good friend of mine was there. And she said that, you know what, there's another application that you could potentially have. And she said forensic firearms examination. I never really thought of it. So, I always like to look at everything, so.
Yeah, I thought it was Julie.
Yeah, it was Julie.
Yeah.
So I went to the Monroe County Crime Lab where I'm from and did an internship and found that it was quite interesting because, being a regular cop, having a really good firearms background isn't really doing any good. You're not using it unless you get into being an instructor, and you're a long ways off from that. But, for as far as that, it was a much more technical aspect of it. And so I decided, you know what, I wanted to do it. I did it for almost 10 years. And as I said, it wasn't me. It wasn't what my passions were for it. I really wanted to work with soldiers and police and do design work and things like that. So, but that was my introduction. And at that time, it was very hard to get into it unless you had a bachelor's degree with X amount of hours in science. The problem was there's no degree that you can get that I think makes you a firearms expert. So basically, most universities will train you from the ground up, which is difficult when you take someone who's already had 22 years, or whatever it was I had before, in firearms, and then go into this when you're taking somebody who just thinks it's neat. They go in there and they're learning from scratch. This is a 22. This is a 45. This is a shotgun. You have a much lower quality of people. Fortunately, the laboratory that I worked for, they wanted somebody. They used to joke it was called wanted a bachelor's degree in firearmyology, which means they wanted gun experts first, and then they could teach you the comparison work. That's not the way it is anymore. What you're getting now, we're not the same kind of forensic scientists that we had 20 years ago.
And, just from being with him during that time too, he had a hard time with all the, the matching up with the cartridge cases. And I still to this day don't know how you could see those patterns together. It's crazy. And how you can just continue to have to go these systems.
You remember them too. I mean, the
Yeah.
face
Oh my
marks, you can
gosh.
actually remember them. So as soon as you pull something up on the microscope, I've seen that before on our other system, and you can match it. You do. It's like anything else that you see, and it makes sense to you. Your mind understands it.
And he'd get frustrated sitting all day waiting to go and testify in court, and then only for it to be pled out. And then he wasted an entire day sitting there, and then there's already like a backlog of cases. But Mad Veteran, thank you so much.
Thank
That was
you.
very, very nice. What do you think about the 2021 Colt Anaconda?
Unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to see one yet, but I will give you my thoughts.
We have somebody that's supposed to send it to us. He's already currently has a couple of rifles on loan to us, and Chris is.
That's a Python, isn't it? We need an Anaconda.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking the
This
same.
is a different snake.
I'm sorry. I was thinking the wrong thing. Go ahead. Sorry.
The problem was when the Anaconda first came out in the early 90s, it was not popular because when it came out, it wasn't a Python. It was pretty much the first Colt that I recall that used a transfer bar safety. It didn't have the trigger like the Python did, and quite frankly, it wasn't built as strong as the Smith & Wessons. So what really surprised me is it didn't do well when it first came out. So it's sort of surprised to see them bringing that back again when it wasn't successful back then. I don't know what they've done with the newer ones, if they've improved anything on it at all. But like the Python 2020, it's not a Python. If it's a Python, it comes back to the exact same way that it was, not with a whole new trigger mechanism. Once you change out all those parts, it may have the appearance of a Python, but it's not. It's something different. My guess is this one they made a lot of modifications to it as well. So it really needs to have some kind of a name to distinguish it from the original. But it doesn't make any sense to me why they would come out with it. Like I said, it wasn't successful to begin with.
Sorry, I'm trying to deal with kids in a milkshake crisis. Our oldest daughter took our younger ones to go get milkshakes, and the order's missing. Is it true Como is moving to Texas?
No. He would be strung up we would find the tallest tree in the country, and then we would hang him from
I
it.
knew you would love that one. Mid-90s to early 2000s, Anaconda or current production modern rifle, what do you prefer? Is your SFW still your crown jewel?
It is. I don't believe Dimaco, even when they turned to Colt Canada, I don't believe they've changed in their quality. Fortunately, Colt Defense only cared about the money. It didn't care about what they were putting out, and they always put out better equipment up there.
Is Lake City ammo crap?
No, it's a military ammunition plant. It doesn't make match grade ammunition. It makes military grade ammunition. It makes everything towards to the technical data package. It's very good military grade ammunition. Is it going to hold a candle to a Black Hills 77 grain OTM? No. It's combat ammunition. It's not meant to be as precision. But it's probably an overall scheme of things, it's one of the better types of ammunition in NATO. There are some countries that really supersede us, Israel, Switzerland, for instance, and Canada. But no, it's very good ammunition.
Andrew on Donor Box. Thank you, Andrew. I got a used 40 caliber SIG P229. For some reason, my friends and I don't seem to shoot it well every time that we're out. Hitting paper, but much worse compared to Beretta and Glock during the same range session. Rails look good. Recoil spring feels mostly silver. Do you think it might just need a new barrel? Mob imagination. Is it all common SIG barrels to wear out?
No. I would take a look at the crown on the barrel to make sure that it's not damaged, like it was dropped or something along those lines. Reason that shouldn't be shooting as well. I would definitely check the crown, and if that's not, I would give SIG a call and find out what's going on with it, because that's unacceptable. Another reason it could be like that is if you have problems with the way it's locking up, didn't wear properly, that could be an issue. Um, yeah, that's unacceptable for a SIG. Check the muzzle, see if there's any damage to it. Give SIG's customer service a call and send it over to them. Let them take a look at it.
Yes, we do still do Patreon Q&As. In fact, we just did one right before he left for New York, and it was on
10th?
the 2nd.
Second.
No, you didn't get back
Oh,
until
God.
the 11th. You're
God,
way
that could
off.
be annoying.
Monday the 2nd was the last Patreon Q&A for August. Would you notice a difference in sound between an 8-inch barrel and a 10-inch barrel in a 300 blackout subsonic suppressed build?
Probably not much with a subsonic round. You'll notice you notice a difference in flash because you get less powder that's burning out. But the subsonic's still going to be loud without a suppressor. You're just not going to be, all you're doing is not getting the supersonic crack.
This guy wants to know what the best part of Texas is for owning guns. I don't know if he means to live or...
You can own anything, pretty much anything that you want. So, suppressors, SBRs, machine guns, if you can afford them.
I mean, like if you're talking about location, I mean, obviously Austin is much more liberal, and they're the blue center of Texas. But
you have to have an armpit of any state.
Oh my God, Austin's a beautiful place. I'm not speaking of. I'm just going to be quiet. I think Austin's a beautiful place, but there's different views no matter where you go. But that also makes me a true Texan because, I think it's... You see that subtle finger go up, guys? Did you know that Caracal USA is moving again? I'm still waiting for my car 814.
They just released a whole bunch of the 814s. So you might want to take a look at that, but they just got them. They started releasing those. They just opened up they're opening up a new facility. I believe it's in Iowa.
Do you think that 6.8 will be the next widely used caliber for the U.S. military?
I don't know. As I said, they're trying to make one cartridge for everything, and I don't believe they're going to do it. You're still going to have a gun the size of a 7.62 NATO, because it's a 6.51 millimeter cartridge. It's still going to have more recoil than the 5.56. It's still going to be more difficult to use in an urban environment. I don't see it, but again, I don't know everything, which is my thoughts.
Will you be getting the new HK pistol that's coming to compete with the P365?
Anytime HK comes out with anything new, I get it. So whenever anything new comes out and is announced, I give HK a call and say, "Will you please send me one for review?" And they do. So pretty much I can get, as long as it's in their catalog, I can get it for review.
What are your thoughts on the new FB Radom imports?
Well, I actually have one of the barrels. I'm waiting to get some additional parts for it before I do my video on it. It makes some beautiful stuff. This particular rifle here looks gorgeous. I'm anxious to shoot it. Unfortunately, I've only got one magazine for it, and I want to get the new stocks. But I have to tell you, what I've seen is beautiful. And looking at what some other people I respect, like Tim, he was shooting sub MOA with one of our military arms channel. Michiko William, he thinks the absolute world of them. Looking at the machining, they look beautiful. I just haven't had a chance to shoot it yet because I'm waiting for those additional parts to come in.
Why isn't the LMT rifle more prevalent with SF units like the HK416 or SR16 is?
Well, excuse me. LMT is rather new in the game. They do have a significant amount of contracts for special forces throughout the world. Carl doesn't talk about any of his accomplishments. HK, it's been a well-known name and established for quite some time. Every company has to start someplace. If you look at where LMT is today after 20 years, I mean, their MRP system is almost 20 years old. And now it's got its popularity. It took time for it to get its popularity. And LMT now has transformed into a much larger company who's now building weapons for infantry in other countries. It's actual main battle rifles. So their time is coming now. You'll start to see more of that happening.
Kyle, who is saying he submitted a question on the website after donating, just wonder if you received it. Kyle, send me an email at hbartachi@smallarmsolutions.com. Sometimes it goes to your spam email box, but if you email me, I can look it up and see if it went or if it went to the wrong email, and we'll figure it out and get you your response.
Please click, guys.
I recently received an original Bushmaster ACR as part of a trade. Do you know anything about the square drop mounting system?
Square drop mounting system.
That's what it says right here. Square drop mounting system.
You got to be a little more specific on that, because I have one as well. I got 1913 rails.
That is to Michelle. If you want to.
Yeah, be a little more specific. I want you. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that particular term.
Why did Mark Westrom use 8620 steel for his AR-10 bolts instead of C158 steel?
He believes it was stronger. He also had made some modifications to that bolt as well. Mark did everything. He didn't go off the military standards, because again, those military standards are minimum. You can definitely with different processes and materials exceed mil spec, and that's why he did it. He did it because he felt it was better. Mark never did any cost cuttings. He only did improvements.
Any word about Wyndham making that A2 clone? Hearing about it every live chat piqued my interest.
It's funny. I talked to Mark yesterday, I think it was, and he says he's been trying to find. He's having a hard time finding forgings because no one's making them anymore. So that's where he's at right now, is trying to find forgings. But yeah, it's on the board there. Just trying to find it.
Gary says, speaking of Bigfoot, just wanted to say hello.
Thank you very much.
Good job. Thank you, Gary.
He's very deep tonight.
Yeah, you got to stop, Kater. Move your hand. It picks up when he's licking and scratching and pawing and whimpering.
He's looking at me with scratch me. He wants up.
No. He's come around to me too. Dogs are as bad as children. They really are. Chris?
I can't help it.
Is the Colt CR 6700 A4 M16 A4 made to the Colt TDP? If Colt is outsourcing the parts, do they at least give the companies making it for them their TDP so they can make it to Colt spec?
A lot of the parts I'm seeing are not. For instance, if you're looking for a true M16 A4, you would have a rifle barrel extension and a F-mark front sight base. You're not seeing those kinds of things. Even the receivers, they're all using the same receiver mark for everything. They're not even marked M16 A4 or AR-15 A4 anymore. You're seeing them just trying to use as minimal parts as they can to make one firearm. It's really a shame that you don't even see them marking receivers for particular models any longer.
He's aggressively pawing me. Regarding the square drive, it looks like some sort of triangular slot similar to Keymod or M-Lock. I can't seem to find any accessories for it. Would Keymod accessories work on that sort of rail?
Nope. That one never got replaced relatively quickly with an M-Lock. Mine, I stuck with the 1913 rails. Those are proprietary. I'm sorry, now that you mentioned what it is, I understand what you're talking about. I never saw any accessories for that. It didn't last very long, and they went right to M-Lock after that. It was a proprietary system to them. And as you know how great they were at supporting the ACR, they did a very poor job actually doing it. This dog is going nuts.
Yeah, and our kids are locked out. Let me read this question, and I have to go let them in, unfortunately. Or we could let them sleep outside. Any opinions on FK 7.5 BRNO, your choice of an offensive semi-auto handgun?
It's really funny you're mentioning that. I was contacted by them about 6 months ago asking me if I wanted to review that pistol. I said absolutely. So I sent them the FFL information, and they never got back to me. So I sent that same thing, same email back to them, not too long ago, and they said they're having some problems with importations, and they will get back to me. So I don't have any firsthand experience with it yet. Tim over Military Arms Channel did a really good video on it. It was really, really interesting. But as I said, I've been working for quite some time to try to get one, and they came to me. I didn't come to them either. So I'm just waiting for them to send me one.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Dustin on DonorBox. Oh, thank you, Dustin. He said no question tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Your thoughts on Smith & Wesson M&P full-size 9mm pistol?
I'm not a Smith & Wesson fan when it comes to M&P handguns. Never have been, never will. Just going to military testing, they don't do very well in durability testing. It's just not my thing. Many people have them and they love them. They work very well for them. You know, that's certainly fine. It's just the experience that I have with them. It's just not my favorite. I will say, they have a better feel to them than pretty much most of the Glocks do. But mechanically, they're not as sound as some of the other guns in the market.
Oh, good. Kyle says he found the reply. It was in his spam folder.
Okay.
Yeah. If you guys, we generally, if ever you ask a question and you send, a donation, because that supports the channel. So we do offer that 7 days a week. If ever you submit a question and if you don't have an answer back, I would say by 24 hours, definitely reach out to me at hbartachi@smallarmsolutions.com. Because then it's lost or something, because generally we have it back within a lot of times within a couple hours, depending on what he's doing. If he's on a long phone call, which sometimes he does, if he gets on the phone with William, who you guys know as Mishiko, forget it. That's going to be an hour to 2 hour phone call right there.
We talk a lot
every day. So, but yeah, definitely always reach out to me if you don't have it. We'll figure it out and find it. What's going on with Colt Canada?
Well, last I knew, they were still going. They can't make for the Canadian for the Canadian commercial market anymore. They're still maintaining all their military contracts that I know of, and they're still very active in the foreign market. So, short of the commercial sales, I don't think anything changed with them up there at all. They were always better rated than Colt Defense.
Thoughts on rare breed triggers?
Rare breed is a manufacturer. I'm not familiar with them.
I feel like I've heard that before in here too. Can you expand on rare breed? Do we take any submitted guns for review, especially if it's something that he wants? Absolutely.
Yeah, if there's things that I'm looking for, and that's we have a lot of people who do that. That's how you guys get a lot of their stuff. Because again, I don't have access to a gun shop where I got stuff coming in. So I've gotten a lot of guns from viewers, so we can test them, and it's been awesome. If you're interested in letting us take a look, you get something, send a list over to Heather, hbartachi@smallarmsolutions.com, and tell us what you got.
And also, please be patient too, because I know a lot of you guys will comment in the comment section of videos and say, well, I emailed you, and
she gets lots of emails.
And then it's been like 24 hours, and I get a lot of emails every single day, and especially when it comes to gun reviews. I usually, when I can get him to sit down with me, we usually then go through all of those, because if it's a yes, then I have to send you FFL information and transfer fees. So my email box tends to be exploding a little bit.
And right now I'm looking for a VP70 HK, looking for an Anaconda. And I'm always looking for some of the older type guns, Beretta AR-70, BM-59, any kind of Takarovs, Fedorovs. I'm always looking for. 44 auto mag is something else on my list. I'm looking for Taurus PT92 pistols, earlier, like 1990s era, the earlier ones. I've been looking for those. So there's several things that I am looking for at the moment.
Any real benefits in the HK45 over the USP45 other than ergonomics and a rail?
I think it's the rail, the ergonomics, because mechanically the HK45 does not have the USP's recoil reduction mechanism. I tend to like the USP better. I wish they would make a USP45 with that's optics ready. The only thing that not updated the USP to is optics ready. I actually like to see them put a 1913 rail on it too, the way the gun is, because I think the gun's perfect the way that it is. I really like the USP pistols.
Okay, back to rare breed. Joe says rare breed is a forced reset trigger. Leon says rare breed is a fake full auto. Gort says rare breed is also built to order. And Sean says rare breed is binary.
Okay, I'm not a binary trigger fan. If it's binary where it's a fire on release, I'm not a fan. Um, I do not want to be caught in a situation where I can't release my trigger without it firing for safety reasons. So that's a personal thing. Whether it works or not, I don't know. I don't like the concept of it myself.
Nelson on Donor Box, I don't see your question attached to this. If you forgot to add it, just send me an email separately at hbartachi@smallarmsolutions.com. I'll type it in too because I know it's kind of long. If you didn't have a question, thank you. We appreciate it so much. But if you do, just go ahead and send it over, and I'll pull it as soon as it comes in. How do you like the Sig Rattler in 5.56?
I did not like the Rattler because it was too small for me. That little pistol grip. If I recall, the Rattler was the one that you couldn't suppress. I believe that was the one for that. Now I do have one of the newer ones coming, and it just arrived here. Oh my gosh, what is it? It's brand new. It just came in. It's something else. Snake. Uh,
Don't want to ask me because I already got the Python mixed up in the
yeah,
Anaconda.
well, it's their newest one. It's on its way. It's a pistol, 5.56. So we'll be getting that one. But there's certainly a good market for these small ones that they're making them. They're making them well. But I do have an entire video on the Rattler.
Hey, Adnan.
Yeah, none.
What are your thoughts on the Geisley Super Duty rifles?
I have not done one yet. Brandon over at the gun room, he's got one for me that I can take when I'm ready for it. So that's something that I'm going to have to get to work on. I have to grab one from him. We're starting to get a little bit caught up here on the stuff I've had backed up here.
Yeah, before he left New York, we sat down and we filmed and we filmed and we filmed. Yeah. And then I edited for 3 or 4 days straight. And so we're kind of ahead when it comes to videos as far as booked. But he's been gone for the last 8 days in New York. So I'm sure he's going to be picking up some good stuff from Brandon.
Yep.
Because I know everybody wants to do that one. So that'll
we got a Faxon Arms complete Faxon rifle. It's ready to go here. We're doing a relook at the LWRC internal piston. It's got one of their newer ones that just came in. Let's see. What else do I got here? I got some. I have a new part that I'm working on with Centurion Arms. It's a part that everybody who has a AR pistol will need. So we're just waiting for him to get that particular part up on his website, and then we're going to do the video. We're going to be introducing that. So we got some stuff going.
Any opinion on this stretch 16-inch barrel with a rifle length gas system? Is it practical or a gimmick?
I think it's a gimmick myself. Not really any use for it. Everybody's trying to do a new mousetrap.
If one of the M855A1's biggest issues is how high the pressures are, why couldn't manufacturers just load the rounds to standard 5.56 pressures?
Because then it wouldn't be as much of an enhancement over the M855. In order to get that thing, you also have to understand the way the bullet weight is on that. If you look at the weight of the ass end of it versus a M855, lead is much heavier than solid copper. So you have to have it balanced a certain way. And in order to get the significant performance increase that they want out of it, you have to run it at that velocity. If not, there was no point in it to begin with. I keep hearing from a lot of people that they did lower those, but I've been trying to get some ammunition that was made over the last 2 years to do some testing on. Unfortunately, I can't find any ammunition that was made over the last 2 years, so I can test it myself rather than listen to what the military says.
Forums always trash LMT for their MIM gas keys, non-taper pins, and I have a hard time reading from the side angle.
And no parkerizing
under the gas block. Is this just internet BS or are those real concerns?
It's complete horseshit. First off, if you ever actually see the technical data package for the U.S. government, MIM is entirely acceptable for production for that rifle. MIM is one of those things, if it's done right, it's awesome. If it's done bad, it's a problem. LMT never had an issue with their MIM gas keys having a problem. So, first and foremost. For as far as not parkerizing under the front sight base, I've had these guns for 20 years. I've never had anything rust underneath it. Back in those days, people weren't knocking off front sight bases either. So it didn't make any bit of a difference. So everybody's got to find something to bitch about. But those who talk about the MIM parts, there are some MIM parts that are acceptable as per the TDP. So yeah, I think it is BS. It comes from a lot of people who don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah. If you're emailing me questions to my email box, I'm not going to pull questions from my email box. That was for the gentleman that donated because I put my email in here and now they're sending stuff.
Mm.
Regarding the Centurion Arm CMR handguard rail for the AR-10 build, are they specifically made for DPMS pattern receivers, or can they be installed onto Armalite AR-10?
I believe he has both. So I would send them an email and ask them. I know he does. I know he always got some for DPMS. He has to make them specially because they set up higher. But I've had, yeah, they do make them for the AR-10 pattern because I've had them before. So yes, just email Corey there. She'll answer you back.
Are rifle grenades known to affect a rifle's accuracy?
No, just for breaking stocks. Rifle grenades, you're using a blank round, a high pressure blank round to launch rifle grenades. Those launch from the muzzle. But for as far as the ones that are clamped to the receiver, these are assault rifles. Are not designed for precision accuracy. Quite frankly, I've never seen any studies done that compare like an M203 rifle versus another one, because no, I just never have, and they've always been combat acceptable. So I can't say I've seen any specific studies, but no, I've used. I can't tell you how much I've used them. I've never seen anything different. She's laughing.
Okay, now I have Nelson's question. Well, I put my email in for Nelson to email me because his question was missing from his donations. I had other people just randomly emailing me questions. Like, no. You're both very entertaining and interesting. A great channel that should be growing much faster. Thank you so much. I'm considering the CZ Bren 2 carbine or the Robinson Arms XCRL. What are your thoughts?
I own both and I love both. First off, if you are not planning on changing out the barrels and staying with 5.56, definitely the Bren. The Bren is a proven combat rifle. It's used in military service. It's an excellent rifle. But then when you look at the Robinson Arms, it's an excellent rifle, but it offers you significantly more with being able to change out the barrels. So if you're not planning on changing out barrels, it's probably much smarter to go with the Bren too. But if you want to use that ability to swap out calibers, then obviously you go with the Robinson. They're probably somewhat close to the price.
Guys, don't forget to hit the like button. Sorry, I'm just going through some of the chatter. Oh, here we go. On a recent Grand Thumb video on the HK416, GT said the water demo video HK did was due to 416 having drain holes in the internals of the rifle. If so, could the M4 pass the shooting water test with the same changes?
That's not it at all. What happened with that video, in fact, that was Robert Hurt who did that video. When the gas gets into when that water gets into the gas tube on the rifle, that's what causes it to blow. Now, I will say that's for when it fires. Now, for as far as the drain holes was concerned, that's a whole separate issue. The drain hole, any problem with the rifle firing, but the way that the M16s are set up, you would have a problem with it recycling because when the bolt would come back and the buffer come back, you have like a hydraulic pressure back there. What HK does is they have in the back of the receiver extension, they have 3 cuts. And I do recall they have some down by where the notches are for the stock latch. So as the carrier is coming back, it pushes the water out. Where the M16 does, that's a whole separate issue from the gun blowing up. You get 2 separate issues there.
Chris has a lot of very bold and strong opinions when it comes to those gel tests and water tests. And
no, HK didn't put it out like that. HK just wanted to show that their external piston gun will work with water in the barrel, and the M16 system does not work as well. It's not designed that way. The problem is within the gas tube.
if you're using steel case ammo, should you avoid using Spring Co 5 coil ejector springs? Wondering because of wear on the extractor.
No, it's just not the spring that's going to cause the problem. It's just going to be the how it snaps over it. Again, steel brass is much softer than steel. It's easier on steel brass on a metal part versus a steel on steel part. It's just a matter of the way that it wears out. You still need to have this strong of a spring because it's got to be able to grab onto that rim to rip it out. I also have to understand too is that steel does not expand the same way that brass does, so it's not nearly as good. If you have a good rifle, I don't use steel cases in an AR-15. An AK-47 and an AK-74 and SKS were designed to work with steel cased ammunition. These American rifles were not.
Any future developments from PWS in reference to rifles that you may know of?
I talk to them very regularly. They haven't talked to me about anything. They haven't been putting out any of the 308 rifles in quite some time. Hoping they bring those back because I put one on order, one of their 6.5 Creedmoors. So I'm still waiting for that. But I can promise you, I keep up with those guys because I love what they do.
Welcome back. Just wanted to say hi. I also sent Santa a message that I want an Apache helicopter for Christmas.
I want a Huey. I don't know. Michiko sent me. He's in the helicopter. He's in the helicopters and aircraft as well. He sent me this really awesome. It's like a die-cast Huey, because I absolutely love the Hueys. Just a classic.
You want a
helicopter.
real one, like a real just helicopter?
I don't even have a car. I'm not going to get a helicopter. They're neat. They're my favorite helicopter. Just a classic.
There's so many things I could say that I'm not going to say. Sorry, I'm just trying to go through some of the chatter.
She hasn't been doing too much sniping today.
No. There's a lot of chatter back and forth. New Zealand Mars L versus M27 IAR, which is a better rifle?
I would take the Mars L in a heartbeat over it for many, many reasons. First is the fact that you being able to change out the barrels, you'd be able to get the barrels. I mean, it would be not hard at all to get a heavy Mars barrel that would probably work better than the M27. M27s are also overgassed external pistons. If I want an external piston in the Mars L, I can get one. To me, the New Zealand rifle is the ideal combat rifle. If I had to go pick something off the market that I would take as a rifle in the battle, that would be it. Every feature that you would want. 16-inch barrel, so you have the accuracy. You have a mid-length gas system. You have you have a gas port that's not going to erode and get affected. You're going to have the same rate of fire throughout the life cycle of the barrel. There's just no question for me.
Is wolf ammo an issue in semi-auto or only in full auto rifles and carbines?
Well, this is sort of how it goes. It's designed for the AKs and the SKS. It's no problem. What happens is the wolf ammunition is not made to SAMI or NATO specs. It has a very low port pressure. Now, if you fire it in a 20-inch barrel, it'll work. If you fire it in a 16-inch barrel, generally it will work. Once you start getting into 14-inch barrels, it gets very, very iffy. And generally, once you get down to the 10.5 barrels, it don't work. And the reason is because the port pressures are not SAMI spec. They're not 5.56 NATO. So that's the problem is when you have AR-type rifles with short barrels, the ammunition does not meet NATO criteria. Therefore, it generally doesn't work. It's short strokes.
Is the Colt AR-6551 the same as the R-6551?
Yes.
Is the LMT full auto BCG going to last in the semi-auto configuration, or is the enhanced LMT BCG worth the price to upgrade to? And do you have any recommendation for a long-term use combat optic?
Well, for as far as the enhanced bow carrier group, they make them in both full auto and semi-auto. The semi-automatic could just be it's a decision that Carl's made because of ATF. He wants to make sure the guns that are going out there will not be converted into full auto, so he's kept it that way. But he makes both the enhanced and the full auto in that or both semi and full auto in that configuration. The benefit of that has nothing to do with the weight. The benefit has to do with the cam track on it, the bolt, the geometry, what's done with that, as well as some other issues that have been done with the carrier within the carrier. So it's a whole different ball game. It's an excellent system, especially if you're using a 14 or 16-inch barrel. Was there a part to that question?
Best combat optic.
I am a big fan of the VCOG myself, the ACOGs and the VCOGs.
I keep hearing popping. I don't know if it's. Did you hear that?
It feels like fireworks.
That's what I thought was fireworks. Or we do have a range that's not too far.
They're obviously closed at this time of the
Well,
time.
we've heard it at 11 o'clock at night, though.
Yeah, right. We have. They've done some night shooting out
We've
there.
had really bad weather though today. We've had some not hurricanes. Thank
Those
God,
are like
tornadoes. Tornadoes near.
You did?
Yeah.
I don't even know what tornadoes. Probably better that way.
It is better. You'll scare a bunch of people out who were born and raised in New York with their first tornado warning. Him and my kids were freaking out. Our son actually cleaned out a closet and stood in the closet for like an hour.
Hearing the fact that my first hurricane was the worst one in Texas
Hurricane
history.
Harvey.
It's a baptism by fire.
It wasn't the worst. Katrina was the worst hurricane in a long time. But as far as 100-year flood, that was a 100-year flood hurricane.
Well,
I'll give you that.
It was my first, so I guess I got 100 years before the next one.
Yeah, but we had power and it didn't flood, so you didn't have to evacuate on a boat. So did you die? No. Let's see. Are there any downfalls to a 223 Wild E chambered style?
No, nothing at all. It takes both 5.56 and that. I prefer 5.56 chambers myself, but I don't see any downfalls or really benefits to it that an average person would see.
What roll marks for Colt LE6920 did the last Colt made proper rifle have?
Well, prior to, I have to say 2010 or 2011, that's when it went from Colt's law enforcement carbine to M4 carbine. And then it went to just carbine, which is what you're seeing right now. All the carbines and some of the M4s is where they're down to laser engraving over the roll stamps. So right now what you're seeing is just saying Colt carbine. Of course, they're putting that on the full length rifles as well. I hope that answers your question.
Not sure if I've pulled this one yet. Do you have, because it's a newer one, but I don't know if I've read it before, if it's a repeat. Do you have any experience with Luth AR BCGs, or are they any good?
Not the bulk carrier groups.
Okay.
I've only really just seen the stocks I've used.
What's your opinion on Flat Dark Earth becoming the new black for the U.S. Army?
I don't like flat dark earth, but that seems to be the direction we're going. Most of our battles we're seeing right now are in the desert, so I guess it's fine. Same thing with getting rid of black boots and going to tan boots. I don't know. I prefer black myself, but that's what they've been doing for quite some time. They changed to a lot of desert camos, and they've got the tan boots. The vehicles are being tan now, so I guess it's just a new trend. I saw a thing that came out that I thought was really funny. They had a picture of a Vietnam vet or of a new soldier, and it says "baby grunt." Then it had somebody dressed in AC used, and it said "grunt." Then it had somebody dressed in my BDUs, woodland camo BDUs, and it said "grunt pa." And then I had pictures of guys in the Vietnam uniform saying "great grunt pa." So I guess I'm a grunt pa now.
Did FN ever attempt to fix the mag feeding issue with the Mini-Me?
Mini-Me.
Mini-Me.
I don't believe so, because the U.S. government never told them to. That's one of the issues that you come up with military adopted firearms. Even though there could be a deficiency, and even if the manufacturer wants to fix it, the U.S. government has to allow them to do it. And if the U.S. government didn't see it as a major problem, they're not going to authorize that fix.
They're having a conversation about Luth. Sean's saying Luth, it's a DPMS.
Well, DPMS is a company that hasn't come back. We see Remington coming back. We see Bushmaster coming back. There's been no word on DPMS.
Leon said DPMS started in, it's like Minnesota. It was big on them before I knew what a real black rifle could do.
Well, the later DPMSs prior to them going into business were not bad rifles. I tested, reviewed several of them. They were good quality. I couldn't give any complaints about them.
So what's next up for us to film? Like, what are?
Well, I got I have my Colt PCC. We have Facts and Firearms. We have
Like that we haven't filmed?
that we haven't filmed. Oh, geez. I think we're pretty much caught up. We have a couple of the B&Ts that we have shot. I have to do the tabletops for. And then we're starting getting back out to the range again because we're actually catching up.
I know, we're actually
got
like
some stuff to pick up.
So what we have ahead on Saturday at 11 is going to be the CZ Scorpion 3S1. Is it the best PCC? And then on Tuesday, we're going to have an update on the Glock Gen 5 MOS. And then that following Saturday is going to be the showdown, the best PCC, MPX versus CZ versus the Scorpion. And there's one other one in there too. JFK will be recorded. The problem with JFK is he wants to do it on location in Dallas, and I have been collecting all of the equipment to do the mobile filming for that.
We have not done filming outside other than range footage, so we have to actually buy the equipment for that, which she's been doing.
No, I have the equipment. Like
okay.
I'm set. Like I have the equipment, all the equipment's
Okay.
ordered and everything else. It's rained every day in Texas. Like for the last few months, we've been dealing with rain, and we needed a solid outline of time to be able to not waste our days in Dallas on rain. And we're doing a set list right now. He's spent 100 hours probably researching JFK and everything, and so trying to put it together in a thoughtful way that we cover all the bases, since it's multi-part and we'll have to be in Dallas for
our
a little
biggest
bit.
project we've ever done.
Yeah, so it is coming. Part of me wonders if it'd be best to wait until maybe it's not as hot in Texas, because we also have the NRA show coming up. So we're either going to do it before NRA or we're going to do it after NRA in September. But it's there; it hasn't gone away. It's kind of just a monster that we have to prepare and put together. But I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be great. Adnan on DonorBox. Thank you so much, Adnan. He says he doesn't have any questions for tonight. He's just sending in some support. I'm still in preparation phase for the upcoming NRA show in Houston. I'm hoping to see you guys there. Well, Adnan, we'll definitely see you. If you make it there, we'll definitely
you
make arrangements.
Heather and we'll be
He'll text me.
I'm sorry, you email Heather and we'll set up a time where we can meet.
The only one who harasses me through text message is Carrie. He's the only one allowed to harass me through text message.
I have a few of my viewers out there that I'm looking forward to seeing out there. And
we've met Carrie before. Mm-hmm. Carrie attended one of the only armors schools that we tried to do once the YouTube channel was developed, as kind of to see what it'd be like to have civilians, because it's normally for police and military.
Once I heard he was Air Force, we knew that he could come because it was a civilian class anyways.
Yeah, but so we went to dinner with Daniel and him and one of the other guys that went, and we'll see Carrie before the show.
But anybody who shows up, we'll definitely.
But Adnan will definitely make arrangements to see you. That would be great. It would be nice to meet some people that.
Yeah.
Should be a good show. I've just fingers crossed with everything that's been going on lately. I feel like I felt like we were out of it, and then we kind of went back in it, right? With that C word. I really thought we were starting to get out.
Yeah, we're gonna have some fun at that show. We have some really good people we're gonna be doing some interviews with. It's awesome that these guys are taking their evenings to come out here so we can interview them. Carl Lewis, Mark Westrom, and Mary LeClaire. We're even gonna have him at the range with some of his guns. So he's gonna show you, his skills as a Navy SEAL sniper.
I mean, you don't get much better than L&T, Armalite, and Centurion. I mean, those are going to be some incredible interviews.
Yes, it will.
It's going to be some exhausting time, but
she's gonna go nuts on these people in her house.
And it's right around my birthday too, so that's how I'll be celebrating my birthday is with guys from gun manufacturers and filming. So I'm so excited for that.
Looking forward to it.
I know you are.
Well, these are all friends.
He's like, it's just your birthday. It's okay.
These are old friends. I've known Carl for 20 years. I've known Mark for 20 years, and Monty probably for 10 years. Um, and like I said, Monty's a hero. You know, he's a SEAL. He's a SEAL who served overseas. His career has been incredible. His experience with small arms as a professional soldier, working at Crane. You know, he's somebody who knows the real deal, and those are the kind of people who I like to have on here. Are people who know the real deal, rather than he's not an entertainer just like I'm not. We tell you how things really work, and that experience is incredible having someone like that here.
Leon says that networking is key to success. Well, the thing is, networking's already been done. Chris has been known in the industry for years and years and years and years and years. So
yeah, this has been my profession.
It's not even necessarily networking. Everyone knows Chris. It's overwhelming when you're with him and you go to these shows. I haven't been with him in one for years, so I can only imagine how much more intense it's going to be, especially having to be the one that captures it on camera. Sean says he's going to do a bike ride down to the NRA show. Where does Sean live?
Sean,
I forgot where you live, Sean. Wasn't the Midwest? I thought maybe Chicago. I could be very wrong, Sean. I'm sorry. I can't remember. I know you've told me before where you live, but I can't remember.
Yeah, Monty's an awesome guy. You guys will love him.
Walter says Centurion is my favorite barrels, CHF, and come with pin gas block.
I'll tell you something else about Monty too. I've known a lot of SEALs over my time. And there's been a lot of guys who are quite arrogant, Special Forces guys, especially Delta guys who are really, really arrogant. Monty's not like any of that. There's another Delta guy I know. His name is Mike. We called him Tactical Santa Claus because he looked like Santa Claus. He was Santa Claus they would want to call you. These are just two of the most down-to-earth, friendly guys, not an arrogant bone in their body, humble, just all-around great people.
Yeah, he's been trying to get Monty here for a while too.
Yeah, COVID hit, and then when he was going to do it, then COVID hit.
Yeah, and we do have 4 kids, and the walls already feel like they're closing in sometimes with all of these children. So I'm not necessarily the kind of person that loves to have people stay here because I'm like, where am I going to put them? That's why I always talk about when Joe came and he slept in the office / filming.
Yeah, he had everything. He had everything. He had his own sleeping bag and everything.
We had like in the old house we had where we filmed, and both of us had the same office together, which was an absolute nightmare. An office, and I would be trying to sit here be hammering guns. It just did not work. Our offices are now separate, thank God.
And she still gets upset when I hammer things.
Yeah,
kids are trying to sleep.
Yeah, it's only 2:00 in the morning.
Got a headache.
Joe Mo, though, he slept on our office floor, and that night we filmed. We were supposed to film for an hour, and we ended up filming for like 5 hours. And he had his dog there. It was fun. That was fun.
I have a question right there. I want to answer.
Go for it.
Any thoughts on the New York State pistol permit system? I got some interesting insight into that about what's going on in New York when I was there, and it was horrifying. I found out that if you got stopped for a DWI in New York, probably by a state trooper, that even though you didn't have a handgun on you, they would confiscate your license and all of your firearms. That's how eager they are to take guns from people. They have, Cuomo, and thank God he's on his way out, the piece of shit. But he has made it very easy for red flag laws for any way in which you can take people's guns. Sheriff's Department, they have in Buffalo PD have been known to go through obituaries and match up people who've died with pistol permit systems, and then they go into the house and they try to pick up the guns. There's a lot of really bad stuff going on in New York State for firearms people. I hope a new governor might rectify some of this. I doubt it, because once bills are passed, it's very hard to reveal or revoke them. But the things that were going on there, I'd walked into a gun shop there, and I saw what was there. Just seeing these ARs that don't even look like ARs, all this compliant bullshit they had on them, and pistols, and have make sure everybody has to have 10-shot magazines. They still are putting in cartridge cases for Copas where they're not even putting them in. Just waste of time. What they're making not only the people go through in the state of New York, but also the gun shops to have gun manufacturers go through these hoops so they can sell to New York State. Horrible, absolutely horrible. The more I saw where I was happy that of where I was at. Um, it's a horrible system. A lot of states are fortunate or nice enough to say, even though the New York State doesn't recognize anybody's pistol permits, we're not going to penalize the people of the state of New York because their governments are assholes, but they do recognize them here. Fortunately, when I moved to Texas, my New York State license was good until the time came where I was able to get my CHL here. They honored it. And so does many other states. And of course, they generally don't because, well, why would we get honor your permit when you won't honor ours? Which you can't blame them for. But fortunately, there's many states like Texas who don't blame us for the government. But it's bad. I feel bad for anybody who likes firearms in the state of New York. And again, you guys in California aren't much better.
Sean lives in West Virginia, and he's trying to get 10 or 12 people to on their motorcycles.
Oh, cool.
It would be really cool if we could get a dinner together, maybe with Sean, Adnan, and Carrie, and then all meet up.
Brent's going to be here too.
Oh, Brent's going to be here too. Well, there you go. We'll get a little SAS crew together and do a little meet and greet. If you guys are interested, let me know, and I'll see if I can put something together.
Absolutely. We like our people. That's why we do these Q&As, because we like interacting with everybody. So we certainly would love to have an opportunity to meet some of you guys that we see here. That we see who share you certainly share your life with us for as far as every Friday or Thursday night.
He doesn't even know what day of the week it is.
No, I don't. I just got back yesterday from New York.
He literally just got back yesterday, and he was gone for 8 days, and he didn't get much sleep the night before. So I'm throwing him back.
I spent all my money there at the Italian import store. I had 2 boxes shipped back here, plus I had an entire suitcase full of Italian sausages and our hot dogs we have there, a couple of Colt prosciutto. Then I had another one, brought back all kinds of olive oil and spices, some Italian cookies and stuff for my wife and my daughters. And the other box should be here probably Friday, tomorrow.
And he stepped off the plane looking like he stepped off the set of Godfather or Sopranos.
I'm trying to get my Italian self back for my trip coming up to Italy. So
if it happens,
it will happen.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And we should see you next week, next Thursday, same time, 8 to 9 o'clock. Your evening with us.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.